Well, greetings and salutations, and welcome once again to the Newsman Weekly Podcast, episode number 48, as we draw ever closer to 1 year of operation. Thanks again to all of you for joining us today. As we've said before, we know you've got a lot of choices in this media crazy world, and we're just glad you choose to spend time with us each and every week. My thanks also to the great folks at Relax It's Just Coffee for sponsoring this show. Every day just starts better with great coffee, and our friend Paul Kimmerling and his baristas at Relax have the best in town. So get over there today and get a cup. No better way to start your day, and please tell them the old newsman from Richland Source sent you. I am joined once again today by Zac Hiser, the executive producer of the Newsman Weekly. Good morning, Zac.
Morning.
I see you survived Sonic Temple, and I'll be honest with you, I've read some Columbus Dispatch stories over the weekend that talked about...
I hope you read our stories.
Oh, I always read our stories, but the ones I've read about in the Dispatch were not about the concert. They were about the traffic nightmare that existed on Interstate 71. Amelia Robinson, who works at the Dispatch now, who worked with me back at the News Journal many years ago, wrote a column that was published today, and she just tore up the city of Columbus, saying, you got to do better than this. This can't go on this way.
Wow. Well, I didn't really run into those traffic problems, probably because we skirted around and we found some street parking, because I also heard some complaining about the $50 parking, which I totally get. But yeah, we survived it. I only went Friday, but I did get to see Metallica. And I don't know. I know they played 2 unique sets for the weekend. I don't know what they played last night. I haven't read Adam Fox's second story yet, but they had a pretty good show Friday night. It was cool. They played. The first half was like it was almost like they turned into a jam band or something. They were just like, I don't know, playing lesser known songs, and then they played Master of Puppets, and they played Fuel, and they played Sad But True.
Did they play Enter Sandman?
They did not play Enter Sandman on Friday, nor did they play One, which I was kind of...
Dude, if I went to a Metallica concert and they didn't play Enter Sandman, there would be a price to pay for that somewhere.
Yeah, and when I said Sad But True, that unfortunately also explains the Cavs situation right now. It's down 3-1, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to make the prediction on this podcast, Cavs in 7.
Don't do it, man.
Cavs. Well, the Cavs have come from behind down 3-1 before.
Yeah, when we had LeBron James.
Yeah, but LeBron James ain't walking out of the locker room.
He ain't walking through that door. But I will say that last night was atrocious, and we're recording this Monday morning. They got their butts beat on Sunday night. But other than that, the games have been pretty evenly matched. I don't think will they win the series? I don't know. No. I'm saying Cavs in 7. Sure, why not? But I do think that they're going to bounce back in Game 5, and then you got to win 6, and then anything can happen in 7. So series ain't over yet, Richie.
It is.
I think when the Cavs look back at this series, assuming that they do indeed lose it, the one they will forever kick themselves over is Game 2.
Agreed.
They had that Game 1.
Yep.
Because you're always going to have a game in a series like they had last night. Well,
exactly.
maybe not quite that damn bad.
No, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens in final series that you had the 1 year the Cavs lost. I think the year they came down 3-1. Game 2 was a 20-30 point blowout.
Down 41 points at halftime. I was watching the Golden State Warriors game over the weekend. I think they only scored like 96 points. It was Golden State and the other
Minnesota.
Yeah, but they almost had the Pacers almost had as many points as that game finished with at halftime.
It was shameful. It was
I'm
a very
sorry, guys.
game.
The 3-point shot and its overusage in the NBA has made a travesty of the entire sport as far as I.
Or maybe just play some defense, maybe.
No, but when somebody's willing to shoot from 10 feet behind the 3-point line, why would you defend it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's.
But they make it. Because that's what the NBA is today. It's a three-point shooting contest.
3 is worth more than 2, and teams have figured out if you space the floor, and you got big guys that can shoot now, and it's just it's part of the game. But it's really ugly when things aren't falling. And for the Cavs, that nothing was falling, and for the Pacers, everything was going down last night. But they just it was more than a 3-point shot. They just completely out-physicaled them and just dominated them in every aspect.
Yeah.
Well, we're also joined, as you heard, by Knox County reporter Grant Ritchey, this show's videographer for at least one more week. Ritchie, did you go see your mom on Mother's Day?
I did. I also saw my grandma. No,
did you make some pizza?
No, we did not make pizzas.
Did you take them out for lunch? Tell me you didn't make your mother and grandmother make you meals on Mother's Day.
My mom already offered to make dinner, okay? Listen, I'm not going to deny a home-cooked meal from my mom and my grandma, all right?
Dude,
I did bring her a nicely handwritten letter and some gifts, you know, so it's not like I did come empty-handed, all right? Jeez.
Mom, I'll bring you a handwritten letter. Please make me pot roast.
It made her day, all right?
Yeah, okay.
So.
You know what? Sometime we're going to get your mom on the show, and I'm going to ask her. I'm going to ask her that question, whether you actually made her day with a handwritten. Did you wash the dishes after lunch?
No.
Okay.
But I did put the dishes. Hey, I went on a walk with her afterward, you know. So just
after she did the dishes.
They have a dishwasher, man. You just got to put it in there.
Yeah. So at least you stuck around long enough so your mom could load the dishwasher and then clean up the table and do all that, and then you consume.
I don't know why I'm getting so much hate for hanging out with my mom on Mother's Day again, or gifts and all this other stuff.
I am not hating on you for hanging out with your mom. I'm simply disgusted by the fact you made your mother cook lunch, you made your mother clean the table, you made your mother load the dishwasher, and then you decide to let her go for a walk with you.
Well, Zach, what'd you do for your wife on Mother's Day? I mean,
Listen, don't deflect here.
Plus, it's his wife. That's not his mother.
No, but the mother of his children.
I did hang out with my mother. We went to a Guardians game Saturday night, so that was cool.
Yeah. All right. Hey, folks, in a few minutes, we will be joined by Alomar Davenport, president of the Mansfield Chapter of the NAACP. He'll be joined by Eli Jordan, chairman of the local youth chapter, and Victoria Pounds, the local chapter's community coordinator. So that'll make part of another interesting, informative show. Davenport made news recently when he announced his plans to try to strengthen the City of Mansfield Citizen Police Review Commission through an initiative petition that he wants to put before voters. We'll ask him about that effort, and we'll get an update on what's happening with the local civil rights group. So stay tuned for that discussion. But until then, we got some local news to talk about. Zach, how much time have you spent in the city parks recently?
Not enough, but I have been down to Sturkle, and let's see. I feel like I was at another park recently. I was up at Liberty in January. We did some sledding down there. I love the city parks. I
will tell you this. The improvements and the activity in Mansfield City Parks are the most that I've seen since I first came to Mansfield in 1990. Voters approved another 4-year renewal of the city's pride tax last week. That tax includes about a little over $1 million for city parks, which is the only operating funding for the parks in 2025. Speaking of Sturkle, there's a ribbon cutting coming up May 23rd at the Sturkle Community Park for All. That is a multi-million-dollar facility that's unlike any other.
Yeah, it's incredible.
In north central Ohio. I read last week, I think Katie Ellington Sorrell covered it, the Mansfield Association of Realtors are spearheading an effort to put a disc golf course in at Middle Park. They just had a huge cleanup day at the park last week. They're putting in a new pedestrian bridge at the south end of the park, a new box bridge culvert across Stanfield Run, so you can get to the, what do you call those things, pavilion over there. Vehicle parking's being considered nearby. Hopefully, by the end of the summer, you'll be able to walk from North Lake Park through Middle Park into South Park and ultimately all the way to Maple Lake Park. The historic baseball field at Liberty Park is back in use. Kurt Conrad had a story about that through a public-private partnership with the city and the Madison Local School District. We've recently seen the last few weeks a new basketball court, playground, and sidewalks at King Street Park. In terms of activity, Bike-a-Palooza returned to North Lake Park over the weekend, sponsored by the Mansfield Police Department. Gave away 28 bicycles along with a lot of bicycle helmets. Fire department was also there doing cool things with kids. And for those those of you on social media that are a one-trick pony, I know the first thing you're going to say is, what about a pool? Well, Mayor Jody Perry announced last week she's met with a consultant on what could be the first step toward a new public pool in the city. An analysis could help decide where to put it, how much it would cost, and other details on how to proceed. It's not going to happen fast. The mayor said she doubts construction will be underway in 2026. Quote, it's going to take a little longer than that, the mayor said. Naysayers, as I mentioned before, on social media will continue to complain, but I'm telling you, as somebody who began covering news in this city 35 years ago, again, this is the most activity I've seen in the city parks since I got here.
And that's just not compared to, I mean, there was I think after 2000, well, when Mansfield had the fiscal emergency, right? What was that, 2010, 11?
Yeah, 2010 to 2014, roughly.
And the parks were really neglected.
Oh, it's not that they were neglected. The department ceased to exist.
Right, okay.
When it came to the city's budget woes, one of the things the state said is you can't afford a parks department.
Right.
So other than mowing grass, the parks department was nothing.
And when did the parks department come back?
Came back in 2014, about the time the pride tax was approved. Okay.
And we're just seeing increased momentum, especially in the last, year?
Yeah, when Jody Perry took over as mayor, she hired Louis Andres as the public works director. Nobody knows more about parks than Louis. It's obviously been a big focus. I think they've done, the first year they did a lot of low-hanging fruit, just cleaning up, painting, scraping, signage, things like that. And then the last year or so, we've seen a lot more physical improvements, some of it using COVID-19 money. I am forgetting the American Rescue Plan Act. It's been so long since I've written that. I've almost forgotten the.
You haven't even said COVID-19 in
no,
a while.
I really hope never to type those letters again. So.
And you didn't even. I mean, we didn't even mention some of the private investment going on and the nonprofits doing things in parks too.
And that's the whole key. I mean, talking with Jody, she'll tell you public-private partnerships, like the ones with the Board of Realtors, like the ones
Skate Ohio,
the DIY folks out there. I mean, no, the city can't do it on its own. The city will certainly participate and help, but it does take that cooperation. So if you haven't been to a city park already this year, it's the middle of May. Get out there and get to it.
2025. It's the summer of parks.
Summer of parks. On taking a different toke, it's time for a public shaming.
Uh-oh.
Shame. What was that? Yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah.
Shame.
Did you know that less than 10% of eligible voters in Richland County took part in last week's primary election? There are 81,000 eligible voters in the county. Just 7,740 actually took the time to participate in our representative democracy. If you want to do the math, that's about 74,000 who didn't.
Wow.
Look, I know in a lot of the county there was nothing on the ballot except for State Issue 2. That's all there was. I live in Washington Township. That's all there was for me to vote on. But you know what? I voted, as did many others. As sad as that number is, it's almost twice as many in terms of the percentage of voters who took part in the most recent similar primary back in 2021. In that election, less than 5% of eligible voters voted. Yeah, but you know what? It has never, ever, 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 ever been easier to vote in the state of Ohio. You can vote absentee through the mail. You can vote in person starting 30 days before Election Day. On Election Day, there are polling places all around the county. Look, all elections matter, not just presidential election cycles. Last November, more than 73% of Richland County voters participated, so I know people know how to vote.
And they're registered.
There's going to be another election in November. Folks, we got to do better. I mean, there's too many important decisions being made in primary elections, whether it's for the mayor of Ontario, whether it's city council in Mansfield, whether it's the pride tax, the pothole haters tax. Not so much in the primary.
Right, not in the primary, but this year in the general.
Right, there's stuff on every ballot. If you only vote every 4 years in the presidential election, shame.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it, shame. Shame on you. Hey, speaking of politics and things, the state's Republican Party leadership has already made its choice for governor in 2026, and it's Vivek Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy was in Mansfield on Thursday evening to speak at the Richland County Republican Party's Lincoln Day dinner, and he was in a hurry. I got there earlier. He was not supposed to speak until 7, so I got there a few minutes early, and it's a good thing I did. Instead of speaking after dinner, as was scheduled, he spoke before everybody decided to eat, and then he exited the Mid-Ohio Educational Service Center in a hurry.
Oh.
As it turns out, he had a big day planned on Friday. That's when GOP state leaders met behind closed doors and voted to endorse the billionaire tech entrepreneur and 2024 presidential candidate. Ramaswamy was quickly endorsed by President Trump back when he announced his candidacy in February. That endorsement has clearly held sway over the party. Current two-term Governor Mike DeWine, also Republican, sought to delay the party's endorsement, but didn't come close to happening. So the GOP in Ohio at this point, folks, belongs to Donald Trump for now, for better or for worse.
So Vivek was in a hurry to, get a good night's sleep before his endorsement
they
Friday,
didn't
or
say
what?
where he was going. I didn't know whether, he's a frequent guest on the Fox News channel. I didn't know if he had an appearance planned, whether he was planning to go to where the Republicans were meeting on Friday.
But just wanted to catch an NBA playoff game.
All I know is every once in a while it's good as a reporter to get someplace far earlier.
Right.
Because if I had gone at the time that is scheduled, I'd have missed the entire thing. Hey, finally, the Newsman Weekly podcast team wants to give a thumbs up to another new weekly podcast here at Richland Source. It's called Better Together, and it's hosted by our own Brittany Schock and her friend Maddie Penwell. The two promise a podcast rooted in honest conversations about identity, friendship, community, and personal growth. They've already had a couple of shows, and new episodes are going to drop each Thursday at Richland Source or wherever you listen to podcasts. So please, give it a listen.
And you could listen on the same feed, Source Daily podcast feed, that you're listening to this show on right now.
So there you go.
Unless you're watching on YouTube, unless you're one of the 5 viewers watching us on YouTube.
You know what?
Man, there's more than 5. Okay.
Well, Richie, keep working. We'll get you up there. But hey, you know what? That's enough for now. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Alomar Davenport, president of the Mansfield Chapter of the NAACP. So please, stay with us. Well, welcome back to the Newsman Weekly. We're now joined by Alomar Davenport, Eli Jordan, and Victoria Pounds from the Mansfield Chapter of the NAACP. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for getting up so damn early. I certainly appreciate it.
No problem.
Now, for those who do not know or may not know, Alomar Davenport was elected president of the local NAACP just 7 months ago, was elected in November, took office in December, but he's certainly no stranger to the community or Mansfield leaders. He represented the 4th Ward on Mansfield City Council from 2019 to 2023. Also helped lead the Black and Brown Coalition in a successful effort to reach a code of conduct between the Mansfield Police Department and the local community. So, Alomar, what have you been doing since you left elected office 2 years ago, and why did you decide to seek a leadership role with the local NAACP?
Well, the local NAACP sought me, actually. I didn't have plans on being president. I was very comfortable in my legal redress role. But the branch, we feel like we needed to get a little younger. We felt like we needed some fresh ideas, and all organizations need to be revitalized every so often. So I was approached by leadership at this point a year ago, and asked if I would be interested in moving into the president's role. Took a few moments to think about it, but it does allow me to continue the work that you have spoken about. Criminal justice reform and police community relations is something that is vital to any community. And this role allowed me to kind of expand what I have been doing over the last 4 years in regard to that. So I'm humbled and appreciative of the trust that the NAACP had in me to take on this role. and we're looking forward to changing the culture and changing the perception of what we are as an organization moving forward.
Well, very good. Let me ask Eli and Victoria to tell us a little bit about yourselves and explain why you chose to become involved with the Mansfield chapter of the NAACP. And I'll let either one of you go first that wants to.
I'll go first.
Right.
I got involved almost the same way as Alomar did. He reached out to me. He said, "Hey, I would love to have you on the board as a youth chair." And I said, "Of course, I would love to be that person, to be that voice to help engaging students to get us back into the mode of where we used to be. And I would love to help the students who are in the community, get them involved and let them know that we are here and advocate for any issues that they have going on. I'm already working in the school district right now as a Gear Up advisor. And so when he asked me, "Hey, you want to be on part?" I said, "That's no questions asked. I'm already doing the work now. Why not take it to a national level with the NAACP and get involved here and let the kids know that there's other avenues, other resources that can be there they can rely on."
Very good. Victoria?
Hi, I'm Victoria. Well, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm also a social worker. So those two things combined really drove my purposes to reaching out to Alomar. I actually emailed him because I was talking to my mentors from OSU, and they were like, like the things that you're wanting to do within the community with as far as like engagement, restoration, helping to provide resources or feeding insecurities within the community, the NAACP is going to be, the home for you to do that, and then also to have the support to back it. I'm also co-chairing the youth chapter with Eli as well. The youth mean a lot to me, and I feel as though us talking to them or showing them something different, no matter where you come from, your possibilities can be endless and stuff like that. Giving them that more support, and then we're not that far in age from them. I'm not 30 yet, so maybe they'll be more susceptible to hearing us out.
Yep.
So just getting knee to knee with them is important in my perspective.
Yeah, having grown up with a father who was a career sailor in the U.S. Navy, I'm trying to align Marine Corps and social worker.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit how you made that transition. Why the Marine Corps, and then why social work?
Why the Marine Corps was, honestly, they were the best of the best. I remember seeing them because I used to go to the University of Akron. I remember seeing them. The recruiters, they came to like a career fair, and I was going there to interview or try to interview with FBI, but then I saw the Marines, and I was just like, whoa, I want to be that. That was just, I've always just been that person that was just like, I can do anything I want to do. I have like 12, 13 siblings, and I'm one of the oldest, so it was just like instilling in them, like, you can do anything. So that's really what drove my purpose to go to the Marines. And I just wanted to be a part of something that was bigger than myself. I've always had that drive or that ambition. So during my time in the Marines, like my last 2 years, I got a role working as an operations supervisor for our battalion. And, we were in charge of over 800 Marines and sailors just running ops. But during that time, I was obviously put into a leadership role. So I got to be next to the big wigs, I guess you can say, the shiny collar guys. And I got to run a nonprofit. And my mission of that was to enhance unit cohesion, camaraderie. So it was basically getting everybody out of their office. And, no matter what the rank was, you was going to come out here with us. And whether it was food or events or Christmas parties, whatever, we planned all of that with my council. We called it the Non-Commissioned Officers Council. And during that time, like, I got to talk to Marines and sailors of all ranks, and they got to basically, they began to trust me. They began to come to my office for any little thing that they felt like, we know you're going to help us type of thing. And I realized that I had a voice. So taking that and being able to like evoke change for them in the Marines and in the Navy, because we, the Navy's worked with us, Navy sailors. I realized that I had a voice, and I knew how to use it and to get change done, you know. So hopefully they're still doing the council and everything that I left for them. So that's really what drove my, I guess, steered my gears to social work, because it was just like, this is for me. So, yeah.
Excellent. Now, Eli, you said you were involved with Gear Up. Talk a little bit about that program, and I think you guys just had another successful ceremony in the last week or so.
Yes, we had Thursday. We had our signing day, where we acknowledge all our students who are interested in pursuing plans after high school, whether going to the military, a post-secondary school, either into the workforce. We had a lot of students who graduating from the CTE program who are going into the workforce with their careers. So we want to give a chance to recognize those seniors, let the whole school see them, their parents come in, the community come in, let them see that our students are making a commitment effort to take on the future by having a plan for the future. But the program is there as for 7th through 12th graders. It helps students prepare for their post-secondary plans. Right now, we're doing an excellent job. We get a lot of positive feedback within the community, within the school. The kids love us. Mm-hmm. We're planning for our summer programs this summer. It's gonna be really fun. So if you see us on Facebook, if you have any students that want to join, just reach out to us and we'll get them involved.
Very good. Now, Alomar, you called or requested or staged or put on a very well-attended town hall meeting a couple of weeks ago after a couple of incidents involving Mansfield police and the community. I believe in one instance, police handled security during an Ohio Liquor Commission investigation at a private club. In another, police made an arrest of a man on the front porch of a house, an arrest that became physical. Now, you said you didn't call that meeting to discuss those incidents in particular, so explain to the audience your goals going into that town hall meeting a couple of weeks ago.
Sure. So the reason I said these meetings are not specifically about those instances, and it's because we couldn't change them. They had already happened. There was nothing that we could do to stop what had already happened, but what we can do is stop what may happen in the future. And we can use those two instances to highlight what went right, what went wrong in those two particular situations. And what we were really trying to point out in the Orange Street situation is the difference between de-escalation and escalation. There were some officers, one in particular, who exuded de-escalation to a T. He was very calm, very measured, very firm, but he didn't create a situation where others would escalate the situation. But we had officers who were the complete opposite of that, who were rowdy, who were cursing, and could create a situation where others may match that energy. So we kind of wanted to highlight those two. And with the porch incident, we wanted to highlight in our code of conduct. There's a part in there where we asked the officers to give an opportunity for a person to surrender to arrest prior to physical altercation, and we felt that protocol was not used in that particular instance. We do not feel he was given the opportunity to submit to arrest prior to the physical altercation, and so what we're trying to do is ensure that in the future, in that particular situation, it comes out with a different outcome.
Now, that night, Mayor Jody Perry, Safety Service Director Keith Porch, and Police Chief Jason Bauman all participated. And the meeting began, I think, with a list of about 19 questions that you guys asked of the police department. Were you satisfied with the answers you heard that night?
What we were trying to get out of those answers was, you had mentioned the code of conduct. Mm-hmm. And so when the code of conduct was originally signed, it was supposed to be reaffirmed every so often. Periodically, we were supposed to reaffirm it. We have not reaffirmed it since its inception. And so with those questions, we were trying to get the philosophy of our new chief, trying to understand his methods of operation. So when we go back in and look at the code of conduct, I can incorporate some of the things that he spoke of. Of course, some of the answers were expected. Some of the answers were ones that the community did not agree with. But it's all in an effort to create a situation where both sides can come up with a code of conduct that we both can agree on. So I was satisfied with his answers in terms of getting his viewpoint and getting his philosophy, yes.
Now, is the plan to take the current code of conduct that was approved back when Tim Thaker was mayor? You had a different safety service director and a different police chief. Obviously, Keith Ports is now the safety service director. Mm-hmm. But is the idea to draft a new code of conduct, or are you simply trying to get reaffirmed the existing code?
So what we will do is we will take a look at what the current code of conduct says. We'll look back at what happened at the town hall in terms of what the community spoke of, in terms of what the administration spoke of, and we will tweak where necessary the code of conduct and re-sign the code of conduct, as you said, with this new administration. We have a new mayor, a new safety director, a new chief. We have new leadership within the union because the gold unit and the blue unit did sign the original code of conduct, and we have new leadership there. And so what we want to do is we want to reaffirm it with all of the new leadership. So it may be retweaked, it may not, it may be how it currently exists. But on the 19th at our next meeting, we as a group will speak about where we believe it needs to be changed or if it does not need to be changed at all. And at that point, we'll go back to the administration and find out if they believe something needs to be changed or not and kind of go from there.
Now, Eli and Victoria, one of the things, I covered the meeting that night, one of the things that got talked about is recruitment of people of color into the police department. And the goal obviously being having a police department that looks like the community it serves. From your standpoint, working with youth in the city of Mansfield, is this something that you guys are interested in working with the police department on? Do you talk to young people about careers in law enforcement? How can the NAACP, from your standpoint, and the city of Mansfield work together to recruit more people of color for the department, to give us a department that does look more like the community?
I think what we're doing now is vital, letting the community see that the police care about these incidents so we can have these talks and engagements. During the signing day, we actually had a student, she signed up to join the police academy, and having career fairs where the police are there and present to letting people know, hey, we are hiring, or just that presence of the police caring for hire within the city. That goes a long way. And I believe that our students, they need to feel the trust of the police. A lot of times they feel like they don't have trust with the police. So I think that goes a long way as well, by them seeing the positive in a positive light, as it can do. It can do good for the police, I believe.
Yeah. My committee is called the Community Engagement Coordination Committee, and I also co-chair the youth committee with Eli. One of the, I guess, main things within my specific committee is collaboration. I'm taking that and collaborating with every committee within the NAACP, but to caveat off of that, within the youth committee, we're actually working on getting into each of the schools and talking to these students and, passing out applications as far as starting our youth committees, our youth NAACP committees in each school within Richland County. That is our intent. So I feel like just fostering that collaboration with the youth as well as with us as a whole as NAACP will be a good thing. Starting, our events that we have planned throughout the year and so on, inviting the law enforcement there, inviting the mayor there and stuff like that, showing that it's not just negative. Even within the town hall, one of the gentlemen talked about how, the police used to come out and play basketball. They used to have tournaments and stuff within the communities. So I think something like that would be cool, just to get them to the park, you know what I mean, and bringing the kids out and or the young adults, whoever wants to play, really, and it just fostering some type of change or some type of mindset, like they're not just all bad guys, so.
Right. Now, Alomar, near the end of that town hall meeting, you excused Keith Porch and the police chief, but you invited Mayor Perry to stay. Excuse me for a second. You then proposed revamping the Citizen Police Review Commission through an initiative petition proposal for the ballot box. I think what you said that night was the commission in its current form has no teeth. Why did you ask the safety service director and the police chief to leave before you brought up that particular topic?
Yeah. So the main reason was I wanted to give the community the opportunity to speak freely without the police presence. When we talk about the Citizen Review Board, it is there, yes, but it is there, in my view, in name only. As a community, we do not feel that the police can police themselves, and when you say that, it's not actually a negative thing or a unexpected thing. We naturally will look to protect our brothers, and the police is a brotherhood, right? And so what we are looking to accomplish by revamping and by strengthening the Police Review Board is to create trust in those investigations, because what's happening right now is a citizen will file a complaint because he feels aggrieved by the police. The police themselves will investigate, and even if the police are correct in their investigation and finding no wrongdoing, it's very difficult for someone to say to themselves that it was unbiased because it's the police investigating themselves. By creating an inspector general who would investigate, who would be separate from the police department, it creates trust in that investigation. It creates transparency, which in all is a very positive thing for both the community and the police. I know initially when we came to this, Chief Porch was still chief, and he was very open to the idea because I believe he understood that transparency is a positive thing, and creating trust is a positive thing. Now, I haven't spoken directly to our new chief, Bammon, in regard to his thoughts, but I do know our current safety director and former chief of police was in favor of transparency and creating trust.
Now, for those who would like to look it up, and as Alomar knows, I back from his time on council, one of my favorite things to do is at night when I can't sleep, I go into the city's codified ordinances and just look around to see what the laws are. If you want to find it, it's 175.05. That's for the Police Review and Community Police Relations Commission.
It starts at .0.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at filing of complaints. I just brought it up again. Mm-hmm. But I know one of the things it says, and I put this in the story after the town hall. It says the commission has no authority to conduct its own investigations, call or subpoena witnesses, or impose disciplinary action against city police employees. So if there was a complaint filed, and the police, and I'm talking about the way the commission is set up now, mm-hmm. and there was an investigation, and the Police Review Commission found that for whatever the reason, the police officer or the policy or whatever it was is wrong or was at fault, what happens then?
I'm sorry, can you ask that question again?
Yeah, if the Police Review Commission finds that the police were in error, what happens then?
Okay, so in its current form, they would notate that. It would then go to the safety director, and it could also go to the mayor. But there is no real recourse for the Police Review Board. They would just notate that we don't agree with it. And if the safety director says, okay, the police were correct, that's what it will be. Or it could go to the mayor at that point. But the Police Review Board itself has no recourse.
Now, the Police Review Commission, over the last few years anyway, especially once COVID hit, had a difficult time even staffing the commission. That's supposed to be represented, but each ward's supposed to be represented on there, and they had a difficult time getting volunteers. I think it's now back to full strength. I think the last council meeting they just reappointed and one member and appointed a new one. One of the things that I wondered about as I looked at this, and I know you brought this up back in 2022 when you were on council, wanted to get something on the ballot to kind of revamp this. The Inspector General, let me ask you about that part. Would that have to be an entirely new city employee hired specifically just to investigate complaints against the police department, or could that be an ancillary duty for a current city employee?
It would be a separate position. In the way I wrote the legislation, I did give leeway for the mayor to figure out how that position would be filled. There are duties and responsibilities for that position, but I did not specifically say how. Well, I did not specifically say where that position had to come from, or other than so there would be a committee that was formed of 5 people. 2 of those people must come from a civil rights organization. All 5 would be appointed by the mayor. Among them, those 5, they would make recommendations as to who the Inspector General would be. But I did leave it up to the mayor to decide how that person would be paid, whether they're paid per investigation or if they're just a salaried employee who's, because as you know, there are budgets constraints that must be taken into consideration. So I did want to give the mayor some type of leeway in that. I didn't want to pigeonhole them by saying specifically how much they were paid and things of that nature.
Now, are there any other kind of specific commission changes you'd like to see other than the Inspector General?
Initially, and you alluded to this, in the past we had trouble filling the commission because the way it is constructed right now, each of the wards must be represented, and then there's one at large. And we were having a difficult time filling the roles. So when I initially wrote it, I did change that and went to the way the neighborhood watch, the police neighborhood watch, they have 4 zones. So in the original legislation, there had to be a representative of each one of the zones, and then there would be 3 at large to kind of give us a wider pool to pull from, because sometimes we would have a couple of people from Ward, say 2, and no one from Ward 5. So I thought that would kind of alleviate the pressure of finding someone in each ward. But as you also said, that we currently are fully staffed, and so that is something that I will look to maybe changing back to how it is right now, because I do like that we have to have a representative of each of the wards.
And I want to point out to folks who are not aware, this is a volunteer commission. These folks are not paid. They agree, or they either volunteer themselves or agree to be selected. And do they still? I think they meet monthly or bi-monthly, depending upon the number of cases. I went to one of these meetings. It's been a few years ago now, just to see how they operated. But so, what's your time frame for this ballot proposal? I mean, obviously, you've got to get it written. You've got to get a specific number of signatures. I think it's 10% of the number of people who voted in the last gubernatorial election. Once you get that, then you can actually get it on the ballot. So give us a look at the time frame for how this is all going to work.
Yes. So we will have an in-depth conversation about it at our next meeting, which will be May 19th, 5:30 at NAACP's Main Street building. At that point in time, I will, because as you know, originally we did this through the Black and Brown Coalition.
Right.
As president of the NAACP now, I am looking to move it for the NAACP to take ownership of both the Code of Conduct and the Police Review Board legislation. So I will ask for a motion for us to do that. Once that is done, we will go into drafting mode. I hope to have this drafted by July 1st. Get it to the board because the board has to okay the language prior to us.
This is the Board of Elections.
Yes, to the Board of Elections. And we would like to I would like to have it. I'm saying me now for the primary of 2026.
Okay. Yeah, because I think one of the things you ran into in 2022 was time.
Time, correct.
Because it takes a while. It takes longer to get signatures than people first anticipate because it's got to be, oh, yeah, I'll sign your petition. Oh, yeah, you're not a registered voter. No thanks. Oh, I'll sign your petition. Oh, you don't live in the city of Mansfield.
Right.
I mean, and then you have to get more than the number because some are going to be crossed out because they're not eligible.
Correct. And last year we ran into, it was winter.
Yes.
So that is the whole point of getting this legislation drafted as quickly as possible. Lucky for us, I wrote this already, so it's not, and all the research is done. So it's really just tweaking more than drafting. So we should be able to have a working document ready to go. And we would have all of the summer months to help us. We'll be able to be at all of these summer events that are about to come out, and so I think that the time we will have the time to gather the required signatures to get it on the ballot next year.
Very good. Well, I got you guys here. I did look some of the folks I work with here, like Zac Hiser, don't think I do any research before shows like this, but I actually try to look things up. And I checked out your NAACP website, and those who want to learn more about the organization, it's NAACP Mansfield. I think I may have typed that wrong. .og.org. That doesn't sound right now. I may have typed that wrong. Let me look.
That's what you get.
What's that?
That's what you get for going after him.
Oh, I'll go after anybody's. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go look it up right now. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Well,
yes, it is NAACP Mansfield.oh, or no, excuse me, Mansfield. I'm going to back up again. It is Monday. NAACP Mansfield.oh.org. I did look at the website, and I thought is that a relatively new website? That is an impressive website. And I thought, while I had you guys here, I'd ask you about what else is going on within the chapter. What's membership like these days, and what are your other plans and goals for 2025 and beyond?
So we did fairly recently, revamp our website. We are going to utilize it more moving forward. It was revamped last year. We didn't utilize it as much as we should, but now that we have a community coordinator who is versed in these type of things, we will begin to utilize it more than we have in the past. We do have a lot of events coming up. We are looking to our vision is it relies on 3 pillars, and that is what Victoria has already alluded to: collaboration, We are looking to collaborate with different organizations within the community. Working within these silos is not productive when you have 4 different organizations with the same goal working on their own. So we're looking to pool all of our resources as one, become one voice. So collaboration has been big with us. Visibility is the second pillar. We have to be in the community. We have to let people know that we are in the community. People have to know that we are here, as Eli alluded to. Having the youth know that we are here and what we do, what we're trying to accomplish. So visibility is crucial. We have a few events coming up. On June 21st, we will have our first annual Juneteenth Jamboree. It is a fundraiser celebrating Juneteenth, observing Juneteenth. This year it will be organized. The programming will be organized by Joy Davis, who had brought Juneteenth to Kingwood about 2 years ago. Very excited for what she's putting together for this event. But we're really focused on the A in our name. The NAACP is an acronym, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and we're focused on the second A, which is advancement. So in July we will have a financial literacy clinic. We're trying to create a lot of clinics that typically in lower income households we don't learn. Financial literacy is something that most people do not learn within the household because in lower income situations, because you're in survival mode, and so you're more focused on what you're going to eat tomorrow than what you're going to do with your finances in 5 years. But these are things that we need to know as a community in order to grow. So we will have a financial literacy clinic in July. In August, we will have a IEP clinic for Eli. I'll allow you to elaborate a little bit more on that, being that you're in the schools and on what that clinic will teach our mothers.
Yes. Mr. Green and Carla James, they will be putting that IEP clinic together. It will be at Legacy School. I think there was around August or maybe the end of July. It's to teach parents and about the IEPs and how students can get an IEP or what advantages they have with the IEP. I know a lot of parents, they hear what an IEP is but don't know what it is exactly. So that'll give parents a chance to learn more about IEPs and how they can be prepared with the upcoming school year.
Yep. Yeah, we had Andrea Akinyemi in last week to talk about the death of her son from a couple of years ago, and I know that's something she's very interested in. He was on an IEP and talked about a little bit about the stigma that some people have.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
oh, you're on an IEP, you're a special student, and
Right.
how much her son overcame that. And so if you haven't talked with Andrea, she might be somebody to reach out to in terms of IEP, because it's very close to her heart.
Yes, we're actually for the financial literacy clinic. Her husband will actually be part of that. So we have been speaking to her.
Good.
And again, it comes down to community. There are so many resources within the community, and we're trying to utilize all of them.
Now, when I was looking at the website, there's a lot of committees. There's several. I'm just scrolling down, looking through them. How difficult is it to staff committees? And if you guys want to talk a little bit about, from your standpoint, what are the most important things these committees are doing right now?
I would say for mine, the Community Engagement Coordination Committee, this one is brand new. I'm brand new to it. The committee itself is brand new. So right now, my main thing that I'm focusing on is getting involved with the community engagement and the collaboration piece. I had mentioned previously how I'm basically going to be an add-on to all the committees, seeing as though how I can be there to support them and get this out into the community, and also collaborate with other entities within the community to get everyone to these events. So that is really what's going on with mine. I'm also planning a event right now, but it's going to be for 2026. And that my intent with that event is to address those insecurities. I'm thinking more so of like a farmer's market type of ordeal, but also including the youth committee that I'm co-chairing into it. So that's what I can speak for mine right now. And then, like I previously mentioned, we're also working on the youth NAACP chapters within the schools through the youth committee.
Eli?
Yes. I think the committees are. I think the committees are ready. I think a lot of the committees here are ready to bring the NAACP to light how it used to be. Let the committee. So I think we're ready to. We all got good ideas. We all have great backing from from our president Alomar Davenport. I think we all have support of one another. So we're really ready for this upcoming year, 2025, as well as 2026. I think we all got good plans. I know the youth is going to be very surprised with what we're going to have for them.
Yeah.
With the help of my co-chair and other people. Alomar has been, like I said, a big support. It's my first time in this major role, but it feels like I've been in it for the long haul. All the support he's given us, and this is the surrounding support of other co-chairs.
Yeah.
It's been really awesome. So I think we're gonna be. You're gonna hear about big things about us in the future.
Very good. Alomar, I'm going to give it to you to kind of say the last word this morning.
Sure. First off, I appreciate you guys giving us this platform to speak about what we are doing with the NAACP this year. As I said, we are definitely moving in a different direction. Over the last 5 months, we have been able to enroll 36 new members. It is a real focus of ours to bring in new members, and the reason for that is we need help putting on these events. In the past, it has been 6, 7, 8 of us who have been doing everything, and we're trying to get it to a point where people come in, they're focused 3 months, 4 months on one project, and so all of their focus can go on that to making it a successful project. We are looking to move into different areas that we have not in the past. As Victoria said, her committee was created because there was things that I thought we could do and that we weren't doing, but we needed a committee that specifically addressed that. We have brought on Christine Emilion, who is a big part of Mansfield Gay Pride, and we have created a new committee that is focused on gay pride, and she will be a liaison between the NAACP, Love on a Mission, and Mansfield Gay Pride. I had spoke about collaboration. I had spoke about pooling resources, and so we are creating several committees that are doing just that, to where they become liaisons to other organizations, and we're bringing in those executive directors into the NAACP. But it is a concentrated effort to change the mindset of who we are and what we do. It is a concentrated effort for us to get younger, a concentrated effort to mentor people like Victoria and Eli, to be able to take over once I get in age and have to move on to something different. Having that mentorship program to where it just keeps going. We're focused on creating a culture for them to come into, to take a hold of, and just continue. I've spoken to them about how reason they're here is I want them to follow and watch what I do, not to become a clone of me, but to see how I do things and then take what I do and make it their own and create their own situations. I've spoken about how what I really would like to get to is the point where our executive chairs are essentially their own nonprofits within our nonprofit. Eli spoke about trust. We're trusting each other to do the job I'm tasking them to do. The reason I put them in that place is because I trust them to do so. And like Eli said, there's a lot of exciting things that are coming up for the rest of this year and for 2026 and beyond. So I invite, have opened our meetings up. Our executive meetings are now, they've always been public, but now we're focused on bringing the public in to see what we do, whether you're a member or not. Our next meeting is May 19th, 5:30 at NAACP's Main Street building. As I said, you do not need to be a member to come. But the hope is when you come and see the exciting things that we do, you stand up and say, hey, I want to be part of this. So we invite the public out to come out and see what we're doing.
Very good. And for those who do want to learn more, we will put a link to the organization website in the show notes. It is NAACPMansfieldOH.org. The link will be in the show notes, and you don't have to listen to me stutter trying to say it. Folks, we're going to wrap up today's show on that note. Many thanks to Alomar Davenport, Eli Jordan, and Victoria Pounds from the Mansfield Chapter of the NAACP for joining us today. Our guest next week will be Tara Hiser, the new Executive Director of Richland County Children's Services. Thanks again to all of you for listening to the Newsman Weekly. I'll be back in just a second to put a bow on this week's episode, but until then, remember what Mark Twain said. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything.